The next optical instrument that we have is a telescope. So telescope is an optical device which is going to enable us to see the distant objects clearly. May it be terrestrial object that is on the surface of the earth, or may it be an astronomical object that is heavenly bodies. Okay, so this is a telescope, is a optical instrument which is going to enable us, which is going to give us a magnified image of a object which is a far away object. Okay, so it provides an angular magnification of the distant object which cannot be seen by a normal eye or a naked eye. So there are different types of telescopes. So broadly, telescopes can be divided into refracting telescopes. There are refracting telescopes, and reflecting telescopes. Okay, so now under refracting telescopes, so what are refracting telescopes? The telescopes which makes use of lenses to view the distant objects. So uses lenses are called as refracting. So there will be refraction happening over here. And the ones which makes use of converging mirrors, the ones which makes use of converging mirrors to view the distant objects are called as the reflecting telescopes. Okay, so there are more two types of telescopes under refracting telescopes. One is astronomical telescope. So astronomical telescope will be used to see the heavenly bodies such as sun, star, planets, etc. The final image formed over here under the in the astronomical telescopes is an inverted one, which is actually immaterial because the heavenly bodies are mostly round in shape or ovular in shape. So it doesn't matter you see the image straight like a erect image or an inverted image. So it doesn't really matter because most of them are round shape. Okay, so the image which is formed over here is going to be an inverted image which is immaterial. The second is terrestrial telescopes. So this is used to see the distant objects on the surface of the earth. So final image which is formed over here is always going to be erect one. Okay, which is an essential condition for viewing the object on the earth's surface correctly. Correct. Under refracting telescopes there are different examples such as Newtonian. So these are the names of telescopes. Okay, Newtonian telescope or Cassegrain telescope. Okay, these are the different types, different examples of reflecting telescopes. So now let us see the astronomical telescope. So as we discussed, astronomical telescope is a refracting type of telescope which is used to see the heavenly bodies such as stars, planets, satellites, etc. Okay, so now let us look at the construction of astronomical telescope. So here also we are going to have two converging lenses, convex lenses, which are going to be mounted coaxially at the outer ends of the two sliding tubes. That is, one will be called as the objective and the other will be called as the eyepiece. But the thing is reverse over here. In this case, the objective is going to have a larger aperture and a larger focal length, and an eyepiece is going to have a smaller aperture and smaller focal length. So the first one, under construction, the first converging lens which we use is the objective. So objective is the lens which faces towards the object. So it is a convex lens having a large focal length. It is going to have a much larger aperture. There is a reason for having this larger aperture. So this is going to, the objective is going to face towards the distant object. In order to form the bright image of the distant object, the aperture of the objective is taken large so that it can gather sufficient light from the distant object. Okay, and you get a proper image of that object. That is why the aperture of the objective is taken larger. Now coming to the eyepiece. So as I told you, the eyepiece is again a convex lens of a smaller focal length. It is going to have a small focal length and a small aperture. Now there is a reason for small aperture also, that is the aperture of this eyepiece will be taken small so that the whole light of the telescope may enter the eye for distinct vision. So basically, why the aperture of objective is very much large? So that to form a bright image of the distant object, so that it can gather sufficient light from the distant object. And why the aperture of eyepiece is small? So that the whole light enter the eye, okay, for distinct vision. That is the reason. So now let us look at the working of astronomical telescope when the final image is formed at infinity, which is also called as normal adjustment. So here also we are going to have two converging lenses. One is going to be the objective and the other one is the eyepiece. So let's mark, this is my objective and this is eyepiece. So here, when a parallel beam of light will be made incident on the objective, it is going to form an image on the other side. So how the image will be formed over here? So let's say that this is the ray of light coming from the sun or from any other planet, passing through the optical center, and one more parallel ray of light which is coming, which is going to pass something like this. Okay, so these are my ray of lights. This is getting refracted, this is passing through the optical center of the objective. So this is rays from distant object. These are the rays from distant objects. Okay, so object is lying somewhere over here. If we want, this is the object lying at infinity. Let's say AB. Okay. This is object lying at infinity at AB. So the image will be formed over here. Let's say this is the image formed, that is A dash B dash. So this image which is formed is going to be a real inverted and diminished image, that is A dash B dash, which will be formed in the focal plane. Okay, it is going to be formed in the focal plane of the objective, okay, as well as the eyepiece. So this point over here will be corresponding to the focus of, that is the second focus of objective. The first focus of objective and the second focus of eyepiece. Okay, so at this position your image will be formed. So the eyepiece will be so adjusted that the image A dash B dash exactly lies at its focus. So this arrangement can be adjusted, right? So eyepiece will be adjusted such that the image A dash B dash will be formed exactly at the focus of the eyepiece. So therefore the final image formed over here will be at the infinity, because this eyepiece is now going to behave like a simple microscope, and we know when the object is placed at the focus of the converging lens, the image formed is at infinity. So the image will be formed at infinity over here. So the rays would be something like this. They will be, one ray will be passing through the focus, through the optical center. Okay, so this would go towards infinity, a dotted one. There will be another rays. These are going to be the rays which are going to continue towards the eye after refraction. If you produce this behind, these are also going to go towards infinity. like this. Okay, so these are going to go towards the eye, and these are coming from infinity. So the image will be formed at infinity over here. So now let us look at the magnifying power of astronomical telescope when the image is formed at infinity. So magnifying power for this normal adjustment is defined as the ratio of angle subtended at the eye by the final image as seen through the telescope. So which angle that is going to be? So angle subtended at the eye will be taken as the same as angle subtended at the telescope. So angle subtended at the telescope by the final image would be this angle, that is beta. This angle over here will be taken as beta, that is in triangle A dash B dash E. In this triangle, this angle E will be taken as beta. To the angle subtended at the eye by the object seen directly when both the image and object lie at infinity. So anyways, our image and object both are lying at infinity. So it is going to be the angle object is going to subtend, the object which is at infinity is going to subtend when at the eye. Okay, it is going to be subtended at the eye. So here, as the object is very far off, the angle subtended by it at the eye will be practically equal to the angle subtended by it at the objective. So considering objective as our eye, because objective is gathering those rays, okay, the angle subtended at the objective by that object at the infinity will be taken as the angle subtended by the object at the eye. Okay, so that angle alpha, let us take as this angle over here, that is the angle subtended by that object at the objective. Okay, so by geometry, if this is alpha, I can consider this also as alpha. Since this is alpha, this is vertically opposite angle, so this can also be considered as alpha. So let us write down the formula for magnification. So magnification is given by the angle beta divided by angle alpha. Since alpha and beta are small, we can write it as tan of beta divided by tan of alpha. So if you see, tan of beta in this is going to be A dash B dash divided by adjacent, that is going to be B dash E divided by tan of alpha is going to be opposite, that is A dash B dash divided by the adjacent, that is O B dash. So A dash B dash will get cancelled and you will get O B dash divided by B dash E. This is going to be the ratio. Now if we apply new Cartesian sign convention, you will see that OB dash is going to be the focal length of objective, and since it is measured in the direction of incident light, it will be taken as positive. So OB dash can be written as plus focal length of objective, that is the distance of A dash B dash from the objective along the incident light, and B dash E is nothing but the focal length of eyepiece, but it is taken against the direction of incident light. So EB dash or B dash E can be taken as minus of FE. So using this sign convention, what will be the magnification? The magnification can be written as minus F naught upon FE. This is going to be the magnification for a astronomical telescope which is refracting one. Okay, so clearly for a large magnifying power, F naught has to be greater than FE. Okay, it should be actually much greater than FE. The negative sign of M over here, negative sign, what does it indicate? That the image will be formed is real and inverted. So it indicates real and inverted image. It's not that the magnification is negative, that means the image will be diminished. It's not so. Magnification is negative means the image is real and inverted. And for high magnification, the focal length of objective should be much more greater than the focal length of eyepiece. So now there are few things you need to remember over here. That is, the first thing is, in a telescope, The objective has large focal length and a large aperture, while the eyepiece is going to have a small focal length and a small aperture. The second point, a telescope is focused on a distant object by varying the distance between objective and an eyepiece. So distance between objective and an eyepiece can be varied by using a rack and pinion arrangement, which is used for focusing the distant objects. The next point, the objective of the telescope should have large aperture, because when a much wider beam of light is incident on it and is converged into a small cone, which on entering the eye produces a sufficient illumination on the retina. So even two distinct faint stars, which cannot be seen by naked eyes, become visible through such a telescope. That is why we need to have a larger aperture of telescope. The objective of the telescope. Next point, in a normal adjustment that we have just now seen, the distance between the objective and the eyepiece, that is the L, okay, will be what? It is going to be f0 plus fe, that is the focal length of objective plus the focal length of eyepiece. And lastly, an astronomical telescope forms an inverted image. As the celestial objects are oval in shape or they are round, it does not matter whether the final image is inverted or erect. So that is why it is fine if we get an inverted image in this case. So this is all about your astronomical telescopes. Now we will go to the reflecting telescope. Under reflecting telescope, we will see the Cassegrain telescope in detail. So here is a Cassegrain reflecting telescope. So this telescope consists of large concave, that is the primary mirror, which you can see over here. So this one is the large concave primary mirror, having a hole at its center. So here there is going to be a hole. There is a small convex secondary mirror near the focus of the primary mirror. That is, I'm talking about this mirror. That is the secondary mirror. The eyepiece is placed on the axis of the telescope near the hole of the primary mirror. The parallel rays from the distant objects are reflected by a large concave mirror. Before these rays come to the focus, they are reflected by a small convex mirror and are converged to a point I, just outside the hole. The final image formed at I is viewed through the eyepiece. So, as the first image at F is going to be inverted with respect to the distant object, and the second image I is going to be erect with respect to the first image, that is F. Hence the final image, that is I, is going to be inverted with respect to the object. Now let us look at the advantages of reflecting type of telescope. So it has following advantages. Number one, a concave mirror of large aperture has high gathering power and absorbs very less amount of light than the lenses of large apertures. The final image formed in a reflecting telescope is very bright, so even very distant or faint stars can be easily viewed. This is the first advantage. The second advantage is that due to large aperture of the mirror used, the reflecting telescope have high resolving power. That means the distant object can be seen very much distinctly and clearly. The third point is that as the objective is a mirror and not a lens, it is free from chromatic aberration, that is formation of colored images of the white object. The next point is a mirror requires grinding and polishing of one surface only, so it costs much less to construct a reflecting telescope than a refracting telescope of equivalent optical quality. So cost reduction is also there. And then last point is, a lens of large aperture tends to be very heavy and therefore difficult to make and supported by its edges. On the other hand, in case of reflecting telescope, a mirror of equivalent optical quality weighs less and can be supported over its entire back surface. So these are the advantages, or we can also say advantages of reflecting telescopes over refracting telescope.